What's up, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Backwoods Escape. Not in the outdoors, in the office today, but that is because I am actually talking to you about dehydrated meals. So if you've watched this, there's a very good chance you've had a good number of these. So I wanted to talk about some of the most used ones, which ones are my favorites, the pros and cons of each. So let's go ahead and break it down. Now, real quick, before I actually dive into the ones that I have right here with me, one disclosure I want to say is that there are starting to pop up more and more of these gourmet dehydrated meal companies. I would say probably the most predominant one out there, well-known one out there, is Gastronome. And these companies, they're really good. They're absolutely the best dehydrated meals that you can find out there. The problem, though, is that they're very expensive. So it's extremely rare that I ever buy them. I believe Gastronome, most of their meals are around $18 per pack. After tax, you're probably getting close to $20, maybe even more. So for me, it often feels just really strange and unnecessary to be paying $20 for a dehydrated meal up in the mountains. So I'm not going to talk about them or any of those other gourmet brands out there. However, if you're a total baller and money is no object to you, those are the ones you definitely want to be getting. So I just wanted to quickly establish that. All right, so first up, we are going to talk about the most common and famous one out there, which of course is Mountain House. So everyone who has spent a second in the outdoors always starts with Mountain House, and that's because it is the biggest of all the brands out there, and it's also the cheapest of all the brands out there. Although this one right here, this is their Pro Pack. I've never had one of their Pro Packs. It's one of their elevated versions, I guess we can call it. So it's a little bit TBD in terms of, what this one is like. But right now, in talking about Mountain House, I'm just talking about their general Mountain House meal. So like I said, they are the cheapest one out there. Their packs are typically anywhere from $8 to $10, I would say, depending on where you buy them. And so they're extremely affordable. And there's a whole array of flavors that you can buy with Mountain House packs. In terms of nutrition, I would say most of them are in the 400 to 600 calorie range. Now this one here, their Pro Pack, it's at 590 calories, which you can see right there. And this is their chicken fajita bowl. So when it comes to Mountain House, you get what you pay for. I'm not going to say that they are terrible, but I certainly don't open up a Mountain House meal with any type of eagerness or excitement. However, I still do frequently buy Mountain House simply because they are not only the most affordable, they're also the most widely present, right? So if you are about to go up a mountain and you've realized that if you got to pack more dehydrated meals, then you go into a small town, good chances are in that very small town, in the convenience store, they're going to have some mountain house meals right there, whereas they're not going to have any of the other ones. So it's still pretty common that I grab some Mountain House, but again, it's not my favorite, but I will grab it from time to time simply because it's so cheap and economical. And even when I go with my favorite one, it is more expensive, and so sometimes I just get a little bit tired of paying that kind of price for a dehydrated meal. So I'll go ahead and pick out myself a Mountain House in that situation. All right, next up is Farm to Summit. So this is one that I actually recently came across, so I am pretty new to it, but there are some pretty interesting things about this brand. I believe all, or if not most, of their meals are vegetarian. So if you're a vegetarian out there, you're probably already aware that a lot of these meals out there from Mountain House or any other brand, a lot of them do have meat, but like I said, either all or most of their meals are the vegetarian. This one right here is garden mac and cheese. I'm not a vegetarian myself, but sometimes the meat from these meals, depending on how strenuous your day has been on the mountain, it can feel a little bit heavy. So sometimes, in my opinion, it is nice to have something a little bit lighter that is a vegetarian option. Another thing that drew me to this brand, which I thought was really cool, is that these packages right here are actually compostable or biodegradable, meaning that actually, let me back up. That does not mean that I'm going to go out in the mountain, finish my meal, and then just toss this anywhere. But it does mean that if you accidentally leave this behind, it's not going to be the worst thing for the environment, which I do like a lot. This is made out of a paper material, which you can kind of see right here. And so I thought that was pretty cool and unique. All the other ones use plastic, and I'm trying to be as conscious as possible about my plastic consumption. So if there's any way that I can lower that, I try to give those options a chance. Hopefully all these brands one day will go towards an option that is compostable or biodegradable like this one. I still pick it up. I still take the trash with me off the mountain. But again, if I do accidentally leave something behind, I know it won't be damaging the environment. For these ones, most of them are around 700 calories in that range. Some of them are 650, 750, around there. So on average, more calories than your typical Mountain House meal. So if you are engaging in more strenuous adventures, this would be a better option to get that calorie replenishment. In terms of flavor, I would put this in the middle, right? It's better than Mountain House in my opinion, but it's not as tasty as other brands out there, particularly the next one that I'm going to be talking about. So it's right in the middle. It's fine. Nothing amazing. It's certainly not the gastronome level, but also not down to the level of Mountain House. So it's solid enough. But I think it's an interesting brand. Like I said, I only recently came across them. I'll be exploring them some more, but I wanted to make sure you were aware of this. All right, and last but not least, we have Peak Refuel. So this one actually is my favorite, and I'm going to talk about the reasons why. So first and foremost, out of the brands that I'm talking about today here, they have the highest calorie content. I'm very conscious in terms of being able to replenish my calories when I'm in the outdoors. Typically, I'm doing very strenuous activities, and so I know my body needs a lot of nourishment and calories to be able to refuel and keep on going, and obviously high calorie count can go a long way for that. So this one is 850 calories that you can see here. I would probably say that is about the average. They have some that are in excess of 1,000 calories, and so you basically get a third of your entire required daily calorie requirements in just one of these, which I think is really great. I personally aim for roughly 3,000 calories when I'm out there, because again, I'm usually doing something very strenuous, and so I'm burning more than 3,000 calories. So if I can at least get 3,000 of those back, then it's a win in my book, and Peak Refuel makes that very easy to do that. And also, I honestly just love their flavors. So this is the chicken coconut curry. I love their bison one. They just released a new line with Steven Bernella as kind of like the man who came up with the recipe, so to speak. They kind of collaborated. Really, really good tasting stuff. I actually do look forward to eating these, unlike, for example, like the Mountain House, where it's just kind of like a necessary evil. I actually think these flavors are genuinely really good. Now, in terms of price point, these are going to fluctuate depending on the flavor that you buy, anywhere from $11 to $15. So they're not going to be as affordable as either Mountain House or Farm to Summit, but they're also not going to be as expensive as something like Gastronome. So this is right in the middle range for price, and because of the fact that I get better tasting food and higher calories from these, that's why Peak Refuel is my personal favorite out of all the dehydrated meal companies out there. But there is a time and place for each and every single one of these. I don't lean into one or the other 100% of the time, just depending on what's going on. I might choose one or the other, but like I said, the vast majority of the time I am going with Peak Refuel as my personal favorite. But if you have any other brands that are interesting out there that maybe I may not be aware of, definitely do let me know. I am always looking at new options, because even for something like Peak Refuel, at a certain time you do kind of get tired of the same company with the same flavors and you want to switch things up. So if there's any interesting brands out there that you think I should take a look at and review, let me know and I'll be happy to do so. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I will see you next time.